Good morning and welcome. Today I am bringing another foundation review to you. For those of you who have never come to my channel before, good morning and welcome. My name is Sandra, Sussex Sandra as my handle is known, and I am a woman of a certain age, so I'm 49 years old. I have a very oily skin with blemishes and hyperpigmentation, but I love the challenge of finding foundations that can actually perform on my very oily skin and give me the coverage that I want without feeling heavy and cakey and just plain yucky. So I go through many reviews on different foundations. I do a lot. If you check my video playlist, you'll see how many foundations I have done over the last year. You'll see I have tested out quite a few. When I do my foundation reviews, I'm always testing them out for people with oily skin. So it's not really for people who have got dry skin or normal skin or even combination skin. It's for those of us with very oily skin. But you can normally tell how the foundation will perform on your skin going by the performance on my skin. Hope that helps and hope that makes sense. Anyway, the foundation I am doing today, I have been thinking about for the last, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's just been sitting on my conscience. Let me tell you a story. About a month ago, a certain brand launched on Instagram that they were going to be doing new foundations. There was a whole load of hoopla, so much excitement about it, because they had a concealer that was like #1 concealer in the world. It is a really good concealer. Are you guessing what brand I'm talking about yet? So the concealer came out. The concealer's got loads of different shades in the range and everybody was really excited. Then they did the Instagram launch of the product, and let's just say that it didn't go down too well. On the Instagram launch, they had, I think they had something like 2 or 3 arms, and they had all these swatches on the arms. And the first thing that everybody noticed, and I mean everybody noticed, is that they had 15 shades of very light to tan, and yeah, light tan. And then there was these 2 shades for dark skins. So 15 shades, 13 of them were for light to light tan shades, not even medium tan, but light tan shades, and then 2 deep skin shades. And those 2 deep skin shades, as we later found out, had the undertones of Oompa Loompas. It didn't go down too well. A big influencer, YouTuber, her name was Alicia Ashley. She did a review. Now Alicia Ashley, I would say she's maybe biracial. I think she might be biracial. So she's got black in her family somewhere, but she's definitely of a darker skinned tone. She did the swatch of the matte, because the foundations came in 2 formulations. They came in matte and they came in hydration, which I thought was a fantastic idea. So Alyssa Ashley did a review. Well, she tried to do a review on her channel, and let's just say by the time she finished her review, she ended up doing the equivalent of a drop mic boom. She didn't bother to finish the review because the foundations looked absolutely awful on her skin. The undertones were rubbish. She couldn't even get a match for her skin type without maybe mixing, and she wasn't going to do it. She was not happy, and that video went viral. The backlash to this foundation was humongous, and even some of the most, I'm going to call them what they are, some of the most racist influencers on the channel, even they were like, oh, this is disgusting, because they all jumped to the bandwagon. Oh, this is disgusting. Any foundation, all foundation brands must do shades for everybody. They didn't mean it. They don't give a shit, because they're still reviewing products that have got crappy shade ranges for everybody. Now, so to me now, my story, what I did. So as soon as I heard about the launch of the foundation, yeah, I was up that night because I couldn't sleep. I can never sleep. I was up that night, and as soon as it launched, I placed my order. I placed my order on the internet. The tartecosmetics.com website, they do, when you go on from the UK, the prices show up in pounds, but it is shipping from the US. So the foundation itself actually costs £35, but once you put your shipping and everything on it, I think the total price in the end was £48.06. So it's an expensive product. It really is an expensive product, and there wasn't even any discounts or anything available, because you're talking to a lady who doesn't like to buy anything at full price, so there was nothing available. So I took the risk and thought, you know what, I want to try this foundation. So I bought the full thing. After I placed the order, I went to sleep. Woke up in the morning and then I saw all the comments and I thought, you know what, I shouldn't have done this, should I? I really shouldn't have done this because I wasn't sure about the shade I ordered anyway. By this time, it's only about 4 hours after I placed the order. I hadn't received a confirmation email from the company because usually you get a confirmation email. I hadn't received anything. So I tried to email them and I didn't get a comment. So 2 days later, I went through PayPal because I always buy things through PayPal because for protection basically. So I sent an email via PayPal. I want to cancel this order or exchange it for something else. I said, please do not ship the order because I haven't had a confirmation email, hadn't had a dispatch email, hadn't had anything. So can I do an exchange or resolve this matter somehow? So sent the email via PayPal, still no response. So a couple of days later I sent the email again and said to pay and again said, look, I'm trying to resolve this matter, not sure what to do. I don't want this order to be delivered. I haven't had any confirmation from you that you've received the order, but I'd known money had come out of my account by this point, but I don't know if it's been dispatched or not. If you haven't dispatched it, please don't. And then I think by the end of the week what happened, I checked on the PayPal resolution centre, so I checked on that and I saw that they refunded me the full amount for the order, £48.06. So, and then the next day this came in the post, so I received the product anyway and I didn't pay for it, so in effect I got it free of charge. So it's been sitting here for the last 3-4 weeks and I haven't known what to do with it, and I thought, you know what, let me just do a review of the product anyway, because there might be some of you who might want to try this product out. And I am pretty certain, because QVC in the UK have got a very good relationship with Tarte, I'm pretty certain there will be a Today Special value coming up soon which will have this foundation featured. Probably not all the shades, surprise surprise. They'll probably have this foundation and they'll have other products as well, and a really fantastic deal. So it might be worthwhile just having a bit of an idea of how this foundation performs. That's my reasoning in my head, but I think, to be honest, I just want to try this foundation out. I've got it, I want to try it out. So here I am. So the shade I got, the formula I got was matte, and I got it in the shade Rich Sand. So as I said, it cost £35. There are, on the initial launch I did 15 shades. Tarte got their asses kicked. I mean, literally they got their asses bitten, chewed up and spat out. So they withdrew the product from sale and then they said coming soon, because they did the classic line, like, we got more shades coming later. Nobody wants to hear about more shades coming later. They want to be included from the start. Nobody wants to be an afterthought, and that's basically what Tarte got criticised for. They got criticised for, one, not doing a full range of products anyway, and two, if you've obviously got these darker shades in the mix already, why don't you just release everything out at the same time? You know, just wait the extra 2 weeks and just launch all the shades at the same time. So after the 15 shades they came out with another further 3. So I think they came out with a medium tan shade and they came out with 2 darker shades, and yeah, people are impressed. So a lot of people have literally just cancelled Tarte from their reviews, and they're just not promoting the product anymore at all. So even the Shape Tape concealer people aren't talking about anymore, which is a shame. So there's been a lot of reviews about alternative concealers to use instead of Tarte, because people just want to cancel Tarte out completely. I don't know how I feel about that, because I actually like the Shape Tape concealer. I know I feel like I'm being a sellout, I'm not standing up for the cause, but I just sort of think it's only makeup. There's a side of me that says it's only makeup, but there's the other side of me saying, well, no, brands need to be really thinking about everybody, and that's right across the board, not just brands, everything. It's like, if you're going to do something, just do it properly and done. If you're going to release a product, do the full thing. Just include everybody in your range, okay? And that's just not Tarte, that's IT Cosmetics, that's Benefit, that's all of you, because all of you brands are just as bad. Just because you seem to have got let off, it's not just Tarte, it's you as well. Anyway, so this is the product. That's it. Comes in a glass bottle, typical Tarte branding and thing, gold and purple lid and everything. I'm just going to go ahead and put this on. So I'm going to do a wear test, and I'll come back at the end of the, or say end of the day. I'll wear the product for about 6-7 hours and I'll let you know how it gets on. So let me do all my usual preparation. So I've already sort of lightly moisturised my skin with the Fenty moisturiser. So I'm going to put my primer on, you know, the primer I use. Let's do some of that. So I always put my Becca Matte Evermatte Poreless primer on. This is my main primer when I'm testing out foundations. I know that it performs. But saying that though, the primer I tried the other day, that one that came in the pink parcel packaging, which was only half filled, that was the Evelyn Iona green tea primer. That's actually quite a good primer as well, you know. If you want to control your oils, it's not a bad primer at all. I will definitely give it that. The full price of that primer was something like £28, so if you did get it in your pink parcel, try it out. It's actually pretty decent. Okay, right, there we go. Oh, that's my lovely tacky matte feel. It just gives me confidence when I've got that on. That's all good. Right, I'm not going to do any concealer because I want to see how this product performs by itself. So let's shake this up. So it comes in, what's the quantity? So it doesn't say on the bottle. No, it actually doesn't say, but I'm assuming it's 1 fluid ounce. It looks like it's a 1 fluid ounce bottle, doesn't it? Yeah. And just to say again, the shade I'm trying out is Rich Sand. Let me just go through the shades so you know what shades are available. Actually, let me put the foundation on first and I can do that. Let it set. Right. Ooh. So it is like the Shape Tape. It's got a massive doe foot. Can you see that? So it's a doe foot. So I'm going to put that on. I didn't set my face with powder. Let me see how the foundation performs without setting my face with powder. Right, let's do this. Okay, it looks like it's got a very red undertone. I'm seeing that already. The shade may look a little bit dark on me, but I'll make it work. It is definitely darker than a lot of the products I tend to use, but we'll see. You don't get a lot out when you dip it in. Using my Tarte brush, spray with setting spray. It blends out very easily and it's actually given a decent coverage. This is a medium to full coverage. It's definitely matte. The colour is definitely a red undertoned, but it's all good. Let's carry on. That is one layer I would say on my face. I can't say how many pumps it's equivalent to because it doesn't come out as pumps. But the coverage is nice. It's actually a really nice natural matte finish. It's one of those situations, I don't even want to be nice about the product, but I just want to be honest. The finish is nice. I like the coverage. The colour is a little bit darker than what I'd normally wear, but it works because I've got the kind of shade that I can wear sort of a shade darker and a shade lighter and probably just make it work. This is okay. As long as it doesn't oxidize, I'll be good with this actually. I'm going to put a little bit more on, but it does. It looks all right. God, I almost didn't want it to work. That sounds awful, doesn't it? Oh dear. I know I'm going to get criticised by a lot of people for actually doing this product, but the product's just sitting there. What am I supposed to do? Looking at me every day, calling my name, Sandra, Sandra, try me out. So here I am trying it out. This looks really good. I didn't want this to happen at all, but this looks lovely. The finish is gorgeous. Look at that. I'll bring you in closer so you can see how lovely this finish is. I've got no pores showing. It's a definite medium to full coverage, so I could probably put a little bit more on up there, but I'm not going to bother with that today. I'm only going to work. This looks good. Oh God, look at that. Look at that. Alright, let's bring it back out. Okay, so I'm going to finish the rest of my face and then I will come back to you at the end of the day. Let me give you the time of application. Right, it's just after 9. Let's get my clock app up. Okay, it's just after 9 o'clock, so what is that, 7 minutes past 9. I'm making sure I'm reading that correctly because I know the other day I didn't read the time. I was looking at it through the camera, back to front, stupid, but there you go. Right, so it's just after 9 o'clock. So shall we call it 9 o'clock? So it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I'll probably come back about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So you'll get a good 7 hours, 7.5 hours of wear, and then we'll go from there. But so far it blended out extremely easily. It feels very light and comfortable, and the finish is flawless. God, I didn't want this to happen. I want it to be a complete disaster. All right, see you in a bit. Full face. Okay, makeup is all done now, so this is it. So I will be back at the end of the day. I must say that the other products blended no problems at all, really easily on top of the makeup. No issues at all. Very easy, very quick look. I know my eyes are looking a bit crazy. I thought I'd go with a little bit of colour today, but hey, it's got to be done. All right, so I'll see you in about 7 hours, okay? And we'll see how this product does. All right, see you later. Take care. Bye. Good evening, welcome back. Before we talk about this and what is going on here, let me show you the time. So it is now, hopefully you can see that, it's 4:30. So I've been wearing the foundation for what, a good 7.5 hours now. We'll wait for the camera to adjust. Right, so I've been wearing the foundation for a good 7.5 hours now. Right, yeah. We can see what's going on here. So I'm just going to go through the claims that this foundation makes. So just to remind you, the foundation I'm wearing today is from Tarte, and it's one of the Shape Tape foundations, and I am wearing the matte formula. The colour I am wearing is Rich Sand, and that was the second darkest colour available. So they had Rich Sand, they had Mahogany, and then they had no other colours for dark skinned people. I know the shades have changed since then. They've added 2 more colours in the darker skin shades, so let me go through that. Right, so let me tell you about what they claim about this foundation, because I don't think I mentioned anything about it this morning. So on the details it says, a vegan and oil-free full coverage foundation with a creamy texture and modern matte finish to complement our cult favourite concealer. Well, I wouldn't say that it complements the concealer, because they didn't have the same shades available as they do with the concealer. So we won't go into that. Oil-free, yes it is. Full coverage, you can build it up to full coverage. There's no doubt about that at all. What it does, it provides the same full coverage as its concealing predecessor. It smooths over pores and imperfections with rich airbrushed full coverage that dries to a flawless matte finish using a unique concealer inspired wand. So yes, the finish when I finished applying it was beautiful. It was a really smooth and light, and it was flawless. Felt very light, it felt very comfortable, so I have no issues about that at all. The formula absorbs oil and shine. Okay, while leaving skin creaseless, hydrated, free of flakiness or cakiness, and helping to improve skin health with every application. And they have a tip, a Tarte's tip. Swatch the foundation on your jawline, blend it in and let it dry down before deciding on your ideal shade. Yeah, that would be good if we had the shades available, so we can decide on which shades is available to us. Honestly. Right, so let's talk about the obvious things. So these are the shades available now. Hopefully you can see all this. That's the shades available now. Before they added the 2 extra shades, there was only 2 dark skin shades available. So if you can look at that last row, the shades they had available was that dark one there and the third one in, which is the one I purchased, Rich Sand. And it added the 2 other shades available. Actually, there's 1 extra shade there. Before that, it was just a sea of light and beige shades. So originally there was 15 shades, 13 of those shades were light and beige, and they had the 2 token dark skin shades. What they don't say anything about, and I'm going to talk about that when I talk about the performance, is the oxidation. So let me do my review. So when I do my reviews, I use a system I created called TOPS. Now the T stands for transfer, does the foundation transfer at all, so onto paper, onto clothing, all that sort of thing. The O stands for oil control, so obviously does the foundation control my oils. The first P stands for performance, so the application, does it fade, does it melt, does it separate, all of that. And I'm also going to include oxidation in that as well. The second P stands for the price. So is the price good value for what it is compared to other products in its range and the market is aiming at? And the final thing is S for shades. Shades selection available. So let's go through that. T, transfer. Transfer and oil I tend to do together, and I use my blotting sheets. And I mark each category out of 10. So I'm going to use the blotting sheets now, and I could tell you now, well, you can see the oil. I blotted my face once today, and that was about 12 o'clock, and it was only just a quick blot with some tissue, just again around my nose and that area here. So that was about 12 o'clock, 12:30. This is the oil that's been produced since that time. Okay, so let's do this. Blotting sheet 1. So there's one, we've got oil and we have foundation. So I would say there's 2 good sheets there of oil and foundation. So to the answer to the question, does the foundation transfer? Yes, it does. It transferred onto my hands today and it transferred onto paper because I'm on a course this afternoon and I was just doing paperwork this morning. So yes, there was no doubt about it. Every time I touched my face, it transferred onto the paper. So I had brown marks all over my paper sheet. So the foundation does transfer, there's no doubt about it, which means it will transfer onto clothing as well. So out of 10 for transfer, because there is significant transfer there, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10 because it does transfer. Oil control, well, as I said, I did blot around my nose this afternoon about 12 o'clock and I haven't blotted since. My face hasn't felt oily and greasy, but I know what my skin's like and I know I'm going to produce oils, and that's why I checked my face at sort of 12ish this afternoon. So there is definitely oil. It hasn't controlled my oils completely. I mean, again, don't forget, I am a very oily skinned person. I'm not your normal or your combination. I am an oily skinned person. So I did have oils again. So in the last 4 hours again, obviously you saw there was oil all over my face. It wasn't just in a particular area, it was all over. It doesn't prevent oil coming through as it claims in its description there. So for oil control, I'm also going to give it a 4 out of 10. Performance, right, so performance, does it fade? No, there is no fading whatsoever. It's kept its integrity all over my face. It's been really good on performance. Hasn't faded at all. It's really good. No melting, no separation. And now that I've blotted, you can see that the finish is still very flawless. But I do want to talk about the oxidation. Look at the shade. When I put the foundation on originally, I could see that it had a very red undertone. But there was no mention of any oxidation or the colour. It didn't say anything in the details about the colour remaining true throughout the day. Because I've noticed that a lot of foundations now, the ones that are coming out now, they are sort of making the claim that foundations, their shades are remaining true. This does not. This has oxidised like crazy. It was already too dark when I put it on. Some of you may not have agreed with me on that, but I'm telling you, it was dark. So look at my face now. And then look at my chest. I'm just going to lower you down so you can see my chest. And yeah, it's 2 shades, 2.5 shades to 3 shades darker than my chest. This foundation oxidizes like crazy. They do say in the application that you should put it on your jawline, tap it in, blend it in and leave it to dry and to find your shade. Obviously I had no choices there. So just be aware that this foundation, it oxidizes. So before you buy anything, if you do get the opportunity to try this foundation and you can find a shade similar to you, I would say just bear in mind that you probably need to maybe go a shade, even 2 shades lighter than you think, because this bitch oxidizes like crazy. I can't believe the shade difference. I felt like I was walking around with a red tomato on my head. It was just... And you know, I can see people looking but they're not saying anything. because the shade was completely different. It really was completely different. So yeah, just letting you know, performance, oxidation, performance wise it's great, oxidation appalling. I'm actually going to include the oxidation into the score because I think that's a really important part of when you're choosing your foundations. You want to know that it's going to perform well. So, and performance includes, is the colour going to stay true all day? And this doesn't. So for performance, I'm going to give this foundation, because it didn't fade, it didn't melt, it didn't separate, but it oxidized. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 because the oxidation is quite significant. Price is £35. I think if you can find the shade for you and you're quite happy with buying a high-end foundation and paying high-end prices, I think it's a decent quality foundation because the formula is great, the coverage is beautiful, and the finish is beautiful. So if you can find your shade and you have got normal to combination skin, you're going to like this foundation. You will like it. If you're oily skinned and you can find your shade, just bear in mind that you do need to blot at some point during the day because it's not going to control your oils completely. Your sebum will be produced. So I think for price, it depends on how you value foundations and if you're comfortable with paying high-end prices. £35 it's up there. It's one of the more expensive foundations I buy. I like to buy things sort of in the £25 to £30 range. So anything after £30 is very much a considered purchase. I think this is actually quite expensive. So I think for price, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. For shade selection, well, what can I say? If you can find your shade, fantastic. If you're white skinned, then you're not going to have any problems. You're going to be able to find your undertones, sort of yellow, pink or neutral. You're not going to have any issues. If you're medium skin tone, so like you're Asian, Mediterranean, sort of olive skinned, you might be able to find your shade in the lighter shades, but the darker you get, you're going to start having more challenges. If you're light skinned black or deep skinned black, then you've got a choice of maybe possibly 4 shades, and that ain't enough. It just isn't enough. 4 shades out of 18, possibly, it's not enough. And your undertones, they've done the classic. They just seem to think the darker you go, that means you must be red undertoned. No, we're not all red undertoned, thank you very much, Tarte. Some of us are neutral, some of us are yellow, some of us are olive undertoned, some even are sort of like bluish undertones, especially if you're really deep dark black, then you might have a bluish undertone. So no, we're not all red undertoned, and we all don't want to look like tomatoes or Oompa Loompas. So for shades, I am going to give this a 2 out of 10 because they've obviously catered for the lighter skinned population, but they haven't considered anybody in the tanned and deeper population. So no, so that's a 2 out of 10 for that. I hope I didn't come across too unfair. These are my opinions, my personal opinions. You may not agree. If you don't agree, let me know down below, but do it politely. Anything negative or rude, I'm just going to delete you. I'm not going to respond. I'm just going to delete you, and I will possibly block you as well. I don't mind constructive criticisms, just letting you know. Alright, let me know what you think about the Tarte and the fact that I actually tried this foundation and I reviewed it, but don't forget I didn't end up paying for it, by the way. I ended up getting it free, so why not try it out? But so let me know what you think, and is it a foundation that you're going to consider purchasing yourself? Because at the end of the day, it's actually a decent foundation. Price to be considered, shade to be considered, oxidation you need to consider. Okay, that's all I can say about this foundation. I will see you soon. Thank you very much for watching, and before I go, I've got my 1000 subscriber giveaway. That's still ongoing, so obviously I'll pick a winner when I hit the 1000. And I've also got my surprise giveaway, and that's for people on Instagram. So if you want to know the details of that, go and follow me over on Instagram and you'll find out the details about that little surprise giveaway I'm giving over there. Alright, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to give me a and don't forget to subscribe down below and press the little notification bell next door, and that will let you know when I do my next upload. Alright, so take care, see you soon, bye. I'm actually thinking having this really dark foundation actually makes my teeth look really white. Take care, bye.